This is Midnight Audiobooks, a dark fantasy story. Listen and let the night speak. The Ember of Orinthal. Book 1, Chapter 3, Echoes in the Ember. They left Branlow Hollow before dawn. The village slept beneath a thin veil of mist, unaware that something fundamental had shifted in the night. Cale walked silently beside Ryden, his cloak pulled tight against the cold, the amber pendant hidden beneath his shirt. He did not look back. He was afraid that if he did, his resolve would fracture. The forest greeted them without ceremony. No whispers, no laughter. Only the steady crunch of frost beneath their boots and the low creak of ancient trees swaying overhead. "You handled yourself better than most," Ryden said after a time. Cale frowned. "I lost control." Ryden shook his head. "You survived. That comes first." They followed a narrow trail that twisted northward, climbing slowly as the land rose. The air grew thinner, colder. Cale's breath fogged with each step. "How long have you known?" Cale asked. "That the Ember was real," Ryden replied. "Longer than I'd like." Kyle hesitated. "And what is it?" Ryden was silent for several steps. "A legacy," he said finally. "And a curse." They stopped near a stream, its surface half frozen. Ryden crouched, scanning the tree line, then motioned Cale closer. "You feel it, don't you?" Ryden continued. "When fear hits, when anger rises, something answers." Cale nodded. "It feels like pressure, like the world leaning toward me." Ryden's eyes darkened. "That's how it begins." By midday, the forest began to thin. Snow dusted the ground, clinging to stone and bark alike. In the distance, a jagged peak pierced the sky, its summit lost in clouds. Cale slowed. "That's the White Mountain," Ryden said. "And beneath it, Veril." Cale stared. "People train there." "People who don't want to burn the world by accident," Ryden replied. They made camp as the sun dipped low, sheltered by a ring of stone. Ryden showed Cale how to build a fire that left little smoke, how to listen for sounds that didn't belong. That night, Cale dreamed again. Fire surged through snow. Stone melted beneath his feet. Voices cried out, not in fear, but in worship. He woke, gasping. Ryden was already awake, watching the dark. "They're close," he said quietly. Before Cale could ask who, the wind shifted. A howl split the night. Deep, inhuman, shapes moved beyond the firelight. Ryden drew his blades. "Stay behind me." The first creature emerged from the trees, tall, grey-skinned, its eyes glowing like dying coals. Another followed. Then another. Olg. Kyle's chest tightened. The ember stirred violently, demanding release. "No!" Ryden said, sharply. "Not yet." The creatures charged. Ryden moved like a storm, steel flashing, snow spraying as he struck. One Olg fell with a roar. Another slammed him aside, claws raking across his shoulder. Cale acted without thinking. Heat exploded from his core. Fire ripped from the ground, spiraling upward in a burst of crimson light. The Olg screamed as flames wrapped around it, driving it back into the darkness. Silence fell. Reedon stared at Kyle, breathing hard. "You disobeyed," he said. Kale's hands shook. "You were going to die." Rydan sheathed his blade slowly. "Then we need to teach you control. Fast." Far away the mountain loomed, indifferent and immense. And deep within Kale's chest, the ember burned brighter than ever. The night did not return to silence after the Olg fell. The fire crackled low between Kyle and Reedon, its glow reflecting off blood-darkened snow. Steam rose from the ground where the flames had scorched it moments earlier, curling upward like the last breath of something dying. Kale stood frozen, his pulse roaring in his ears. His chest still burned, not painfully, but insistently, as if the ember were dissatisfied. Ryden wiped his blade clean against the snow and turned to him slowly. His expression was not anger, not fear. "You felt it before you acted," Ryden said. "Didn't you?" Kale nodded faintly. "It was like pressure, like holding my breath for too long. And when you released it..." "It felt right," Kyle admitted. "For a moment." Ryden sheathed his blade. "That moment is what destroys cities." Kale flinched. They moved the camp deeper onto the stones, away from the open trail. Ryden worked methodically, masking their scent, scattering ash, erasing tracks with practiced ease. Kale watched, absorbing every movement. "You've done this before," Kyle said. Ryden did not look up. "More times than I care to remember." When they finally sat again, the mountain wind cut sharper, carrying with it a distant, mournful sound, neither howl nor cry, but something older. "They were scouting," Ryden said quietly. "Testing you." Kale's stomach tightened. Testing for what? Ryden met his gaze. For control. At dawn, Ryden woke him without ceremony. "Stand," he said. Kale obeyed, stiff and cold. "Again," Ryden said. Kale frowned. "Again what?" "Stand," Ryden repeated. Only then did Kale realize he had slumped unconsciously, his knees weak, his balance off. He straightened, teeth clenched. Ryden circled him slowly. "The ember feeds on imbalance, fear, rage, desperation." Kale swallowed. "And how do I stop it?" "You don't," Ryden replied. "You shape it." He placed a hand flat against Kyle's chest, just above the pendant. The contact was firm, grounding. "Close your eyes." Kale hesitated, then did as told. "Breathe," Ryden said. "Not deep, not fast, steady." Kyle obeyed. "Now listen." At first, Kale heard only the wind, the scrape of stone, his own breath. Then, something beneath it. A low hum. Distant. Familiar. The ember. "It's not fire," Ryden said. "Fire is only how it answers. What you're feeling is older. It wants direction." Kyle's jaw tightened. "It feels like it wants out." Ryden nodded. "It always does." Kale's breath faltered. "Again," Ryden said calmly. Kale forced himself to breathe evenly. Slowly, the pressure eased. Not gone, but contained. like a caged thing settling into watchfulness. Ryden stepped back. Good. Cale opened his eyes, surprised. That's it. That's the beginning, Ryden replied. And beginnings are fragile. They travelled the rest of the day in silence. The land grew harsher as they climbed. Snow thickened beneath their boots. The forest thinned into twisted, stunted trees that clung stubbornly to stone. Above them, the white mountain dominated the horizon, vast and merciless. By evening, they reached an overlook carved naturally into the rock. Below them lay a valley, dark, scarred and wrong. Smoke curled from several points along its floor. Cale frowned. There shouldn't be anything living here. There wasn't, Ryden said. They descended cautiously. The remains of a settlement came into view. Burned structures half buried in snow, shattered carts, blackened ground. The smell hit Cale next. Ash. Blood. Something sour beneath it all. Cale's chest tightened. No, he whispered. Ryden crouched beside a body half covered in frost, his jaw clenched. They're getting closer. Faster. Cale stared at the destruction. This was because of me. Ryden stood. No. This was because the world remembered you. A sound cut through the air. Crying. Thin. Weak. Human. Cale moved before Ryden could stop him. He found the source beneath a collapsed roof. A child, no older than 7, clutching a scorched cloth doll. You're safe, Cale said softly. The child looked up, eyes wide with terror. They were looking for the fire, he whispered, the man who burned blue. Ryden stiffened. Cale turned slowly. Blue? Ryden's expression darkened. Then we are not the only ones. That night, as they sheltered the child and watched the valley from above, Cale felt the ember stir again. Not violently, not urgently. Curiously. Somewhere beyond the mountain, something else was burning, and it was calling. Thank you for listening. If this story stayed with you, take a moment and let it settle. New chapters will follow. When the night is quiet, the story continues. This is Midnight Audiobooks.